You know, we think of stories as things that are written down in books. But what if I told you that some of the most incredible stories are actually written into the landscape itself? Yeah, these histories and connections that you're just not going to find on any map. Today, we're going to go find one of those places. So let's start with a question that's really going to guide us through this whole thing. What if a border isn't just a line that divides us, but a living, breathing space that actually connects us? It sounds simple, right? But it totally reframes how we look at the places where different communities and cultures meet. All right, the place we're diving into is this amazing meeting point between Portsmouth, New Hampshire and Kittery, Maine. And this isn't your average state line. It's been called a metaphysical borderland. So, what on earth does that even mean? Let's unpack it. This quote from the author Franco Arteiros just nails it. It's not just about geography. It's about all these subtle, easy-to-miss ways that history and culture and even the natural world all weave themselves together to give a place a unique soul. This is really a story about finding those hidden threads. Okay, so right at the heart of this borderland, you've got the Piscataqua River. And like a lot of rivers, yeah, it's a boundary. But here, the story is way more complicated. This river is like a living thing that at the same time separates and deeply, profoundly connects these two states. And you can feel the different personalities on each side of the water. Over in New Hampshire, you've got Portsmouth, just steeped in this grand maritime history with its beautiful colonial buildings. Then, right across the water, there's Kittery. And it's got that rugged coastal vibe that is just so Maine, with the fishing docks and cute neighborhoods. Two totally different feelings, but they're sharing the exact same ecosystem. But here's the thing, despite those differences, they are just so deeply linked by this shared memory of the sea. Portsmouth was this huge shipbuilding hub, right? But get this, the famous Portsmouth Naval Shipyard is actually in Kittery, Maine. The histories aren't separate at all, they're totally tangled up. You can almost feel the stories of the sailors and shipwrights echoing in the old warehouses, with landmarks on both sides of the river acting as these touchstones to a past they built together. And this really unique mix of history and atmosphere, well, it hasn't gone unnoticed. These days, the area is pulling in a whole new crowd: artists, writers, and what the author calls modern wanderers. These folks aren't just tourists checking off landmarks. They're people who are really looking for inspiration, for a deeper connection to a place. So, if you wanted to experience this for yourself, how would you do it? Well, it's about more than just seeing things. It's about feeling the pulse of the place. You'd want to walk the waterfronts on both sides, check out the museums, and really dive into that local creative scene. The independent bookstores, the cafes, the art walks. That's where it all comes alive. The storyteller who traced all these invisible threads for us is Franco Arteiros. And his work is actually a perfect window into a much bigger mission. A mission to tell exactly these kinds of stories. So who's behind all this? This story comes to us from a group called Arteiros, which they call a virtual creative factory. It's a cool name, right? So let's pull back the curtain a little bit and see what the mission is that's driving this kind of deep, thoughtful storytelling. See, Arteiros is way more than just a publisher. It's a whole community built around authentic storytelling, artistic ideas, and even technical experiments. And for them, the year 2025 was a huge turning point. In 2025, they really leveled up. They went from being just a project to a real, thriving community. The quality of their stories got even better, and this is the important part, they started creating real conversations between their artists and their audience. They weren't just putting content out there, they were building connections, kind of like the borderland itself. And this right here is where it all clicks into place. The story about the Portsmouth-Kittery borderland isn't just some random travel piece. Oh no, it is the perfect embodiment of what Arteiros is all about. When you look at it this way, the connection is so clear. Their goal of authentic storytelling, well, the story achieves that by tracing all those unseen connections between past and present. Their mission to foster interaction, it does that by shining a light on the local artists and the community events. And their dedication to artistic philosophy, that comes to life by using the borderland as this really powerful metaphor for transition. The story is the mission in action. This quote really gets to the philosophical heart of it all. This story isn't just about Portsmouth and Kittery. It's a challenge to every one of us to rethink what borders actually mean. how they shape our lives, and how crossing them, whether it's physically or just in our minds, can open up totally new ways of seeing the world. So, after such a big year and with a mission this clear, what's next? Where does a creative community like Artists Aerostech go from here? Well, they are definitely not standing still. The plan is to push their creative boundaries even further by bringing in more multimedia, featuring voices from all over the world, and just continuing to hunt for those unseen stories that challenge us and inspire us. And that brings us right back to you. The Portsmouth-Kittery borderland is this beautiful, specific place, but the idea behind it is universal. It's a reminder that these metaphysical borderlands are actually everywhere. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What unseen stories, what surprising connections exist in the borderlands that you cross every single day?